Hey, what's up, everybody? Today we have another chapter of My Hero Academia. This week we have chapter 221. For some reason, not sure why, they actually released the chapter early, so maybe someone's going on break or something. So instead of saying, another Friday means another chapter of My Hero Academia, we have another Thursday, which is another chapter of My Hero Academia. So this chapter, I expected to see the continuation of Gigantomachia and him, like, just bodying the whole League of Villains. Actually, to start off, this is another chapter about the League of Villains, and at this point, I think this is My Villain Academia because I think the next couple of chapters are actually going to be about the villains. So it starts off with Gigantomachia, and he's like, you can clearly see he's not right in the head because he keeps going, he's crying, snot's coming out of his nose, he's doing all this stuff because he wants to serve One for All, and the fact that One for All named Shigaraki his successor, he wants to serve Shigaraki, but he's conflicted because he thinks Shigaraki is so weak. So like he wants to serve him because that's what All for One wants him to do, but at the same time he doesn't think he's worthy of being served. And I expected some big battle between them because at the beginning of the chapter you see Dabi, he like starts he starts after Gigantomachia freaks out, he like shoots this giant earthquake wave at the team of them, and some of them actually like fall off cliffs or whatever. I'm not sure who, but somebody, you can see a silhouette actually falling off of the cliff from where he hit it. And Dobby like starts to like fight him. He hits him with a gigantic like flame blast. That does absolutely nothing. Like it puts some scorch marks on his body, but he does not seem phased. And we actually find out that this chapter, right after that, and some dialogue between the doctor, who you can see on the right. He's been speaking to Gigantomachia through a radio, and I guess since he was so loyal to All for One and a trusted confidant, then Gigantomachia does not like mind taking orders from him or listening to him. But we find out from the doctor that Gigantomachia is actually a multiple quirk type user. We don't find out what his quirks is. It's either like super strength or some type of like earth manipulation quirk from what I can see. Because he kind of looks like giant rocks, to be honest. But yeah, it's something. He has multiple type quirks without even being like worked on or being changed by All for One, and that's why All for One is actually, took him in as a bodyguard because they had similarities in the fact that they had multiple quirks. And right after Dobby like shoots his big old flame blast at him, he's getting ready for a fight and stuff. He hears he hears uh he hears the doctor's voice come on the radio, and instantly he just walks over to the radio, unfazed, not nothing really mattered to him about that fight, and that just goes to show you that like he's like really good at taking orders to where he's basically like an invalid. He's not smart. He's pretty stupid, but at the same time, like he can be emotional and reckless. So if you get him in line, I think this more so to show that if you get him in line, he'll do anything you tell him to. But the fact that Shigaraki has not gotten him in line, or at least that he doesn't seem to want to try, that's a problem. So we hear Gigantomachia after he goes to the radio. He gets in close to the radio, and what I believe is whispering. It's a conversation between him and the doctor. What what actually happened is while they're talking, you hear Shigaraki. The doctor starts to tell him like, now that he's calmed down, uh, he's calmed down now that I showed him a recording of All for One's voice or whatever. And then the first thing Shigaraki says is like, I don't want this, referring to Gigantomachia, and again going off of that depression where he doesn't really want to do anything. Like he misses All for One in Kuraraki, Kurorika. I can't Warpgate. That's what I forgot. For some reason today I just can't say it. And you just see Spinner in the background, like, huh? Like, what are you talking about? And you hear the doctor telling him like you spent too much time with Kuro Igiri. Uh, and you need to like open your eyes up and you need to be more open to what there is out there in the world. And Shigaraki's like, yeah, what the hell do you know, doc? You know, and plus what you're saying is kind of bogus. And what we see is like we hear twice burp, and we hear Tomura? No, that's Shigaraki. And we hear like the one of the characters tell him like, you know, that's gross. Stop burping, blah blah blah. Then we see that they start coughing up that black liquid that we seen them use to teleport. That we seen All for One use to teleport them. Seen used to teleport them at the fight between One for All and All for One, and they all get instantly teleported to the facility where the doctor himself is at, and that makes me wonder if it's his quirk that can do the teleporting, or does he have like somebody on standby who has that quirk? And in his facility, we see a bunch of high-end no moves, and it's even referencing it. First off, one of the characters get there, they ask what it is, and it's actually Dabi the one that says, he's like, these are all no moves. And the doctor himself, he's like, yes, they're no moves, but they're so much better than no moves to the point where they're like a completely different thing. And we see like a female type Nomu, which has like wood powers, I think. We see one that has like a warp gate type head, a fat one, if that makes any difference, and one that looks like that as like specifically like super strength because it's pretty muscular. We also see a really small one that you can barely make out his silhouette. And we get some speaking between the doctor and the team. And first off, he comments on how long Shigaraki's hair has gotten, which is what I like instantly noticed. But secondly, he does not want to be seen by them. He like instantly hides when one of the people starts to see his face, and he gives them a completely fake name. And he even mentions the fact that it's fake. He's just like, yeah, you can call me that, even though I just made it up right now. And he said it's not that he doesn't like believe in it, not that he doesn't like trust them, or not that he's not loyal to them, and more specifically Shigaraki. He's saying like, you haven't done anything to show me that I can like trust you. Like, you haven't given me any reason to believe in you to where like I'm gonna show you my face and put myself out there. More so at Shigaraki, but towards this whole group, since Shigaraki is leading that group. So he instantly like hides his face, and he tells them, if any of you try to like come close and try to find out who I am, like I will teleport you away from here, and that'll be it. And, like, I'll never work with you again. So instantly nobody really questions that. They're just like, whatever. You get some more panels of the Nomus and he starts talking about how he's created them. And actually, when I think let me see, I see 10 containers in this one shot. And so that's 10 high-end Nomus. And if you remember the fight between Endeavor, you know that these things can be pretty heavy to deal with. But the chapter itself ends off on this image that I have shown here, and it goes on with the doctor telling them that he wants to trust them, but they've accomplished nothing. And he's like, uh, so do tell, what are you worthless 20-somethings, the trash of society, going to show me? Tomura Shigaraki. And it ends off with Spinner like kind of making this like duh, like like what face, because he's kind of like And again, I believe all of what we see in throughout the League of Villains from their like side of the story is narrated or from the view of Spinner himself for some reason. Like, not that I don't like it, but it's like it's kind of cool that he gave a lesser character, spotlight, rights to narration. And another thing I noticed in this chapter is that this His doctor kind of looks like he could be like a reference to Dr. Eggman from Sonic. I know that Kohi Horikoshi, he loves making little references to things like comics and other works and stuff. So I think it would be pretty funny if he actually made this doctor look the way he does in reference to Dr. Eggman. I think like the mustache is similar and stuff, but in the bald head and the glasses. But I think Dr. Eggman's mustache is actually brown, whereas this guy's appears to be white or gray. It could be with old age, but in anime you never know. But anyways, if you've made it to this far in the video, first off, let me say thank you. Second, feel free to like or dislike, subscribe or whatever. And lastly, no matter wherever you are, no matter the time, I hope you have a great day and peace.